Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So welcome back to the next Single Shadow Saturday. Super excited. I was originally calling this Single Saturday, but then I thought Single Shadow Saturday is even better, plus the alliteration. So today we're going to be doing a dupe, and I'm going to be showing some alternatives for the new Natasha Denona Mini Tropic palette, which looks like this. I was really excited when I saw this. I think it's a really amazing idea. It actually immediately reminded me of Angelica because she did a new makeup releases video forever ago when the Tropic palette originally released, and she's like, can we just have those 5 bottom shades as a separate palette? And now here it is, it's a separate palette. But I know in my heart that I do not need this. And also Natasha Denona, her formula, it's just, sometimes it's so amazing and sometimes it's so lackluster for the price, so it's hard to say like, oh, like maybe this will be worth it because of how amazing the shadows are. I did actually swatch the Tropic in person and I wasn't that impressed, so if it's the same formula, I don't know. I think it's a little bit overpriced for it not being the best formula and the very little amount of product that you get. So if you're inspired by this color scheme, I went ahead and did my version, and as you can see, I did it a few times because I have quite a few shades. Some of these are super close, some of them are like kind of like almost there. I just thought I would show you a few different examples of different single shadows that you could use to have the same kind of color scheme, get the same look. I feel like all the ones I'm going to talk about today are really good quality. I also have a few extra that didn't aesthetically please me to put into here that I figured I would talk about, and also a little dupe for, I believe, Lemoncello, which I was asked to also just throw in really quickly, so I'll include that at the end. So I tried to do as many shadows as I could from one brand. So this first row is a little bit random. There's a little bit different things here. There's 2 from Makeup Geek, 1 from LAKEY, 1 from Touch of Glam, 1 from Lethal, which the Lethal is the only one that I feel is an accurate representation of the middle blue. The other ones are not quite the exact same tone, but kind of similar vibes. And then the middle row is almost all Sydney Grace, except for 1 shade. And then the last row is almost all Divina, except for 1 shade. So I tried to kind of give you alternatives where it would be a one-stop shop. It's funny because I have like a purpley toned silver, a gold toned silver, and then like a blue icy silver, which is the one I find to be the most true to the palette. That's literally, those are the only silvers that I own. I am not a silver kind of person. I do really want Starboy from LAKEY, which will definitely be in my next LAKEY order, but I did the best I could. So this is just to kind of give you the vibes of the palette. It doesn't have to be exact. It's just spotlighting some of my favorite brands. We're going to go through, swatch them all, and just talk about it. So we're just going to jump on in. I actually went ahead and switched the Makeup Geek shade and the Makeup Slave real quick because this top row is the one I feel accurately represents the palette the absolute most, which is actually what I have all in my eyes today. And I did film a coordinating Instagram little mini video to go along with this video. So if you are not already following my Instagram, it's just AMYLOVES, and I will have a just a tiny quick little 1-minute video on this makeup look that'll be going up either today or tomorrow or the next day to kind of just go along with this video so that it won't be too long. Alright, so I'm trying to decide whether I should just go by rows and do like each separate version that I have, or if I should go by colors to kind of show you them beside each other. I think I'm going to go by colors, but I'm first going to swatch the first row all together, which is the one I find most accurate, and then I'll go through and swatch diagonally. So first, for the true silver shade, I have Makeup Slave Starlight, which this is such a beautiful silver. It's got a lot of sparkle in it. I definitely would recommend using it with a glitter glue, but it has a lot of dimension and it's just really, really beautiful. Next, for the metallic teal, is Metamorphosis from Touch of Glam. This is such a beautiful, just really high shine, impactful shimmer. I feel like this is the shade that I have so many versions of, so if this is the shade in the Natasha Denona palette you're interested in the most, you'll definitely be able to find a comparable dupe. No problem. Isn't that beautiful? So shiny. So for the next shade, I have Lethal Cosmetics Remedy, and I was kind of stressing out because I was going through all of my shades and I'm like, why don't I have a blue in this undertone? And then the last palette that I picked up was my Lethal palette, and I definitely go to square pans last. I would prefer to have them all circular and all the same, but this shade is just perfect. It's basically spot on from what I can see through pictures to the Tropic Mini, and it's also a really, really good formula. It's super pigmented and soft and easy to blend and easy to build up. So I really love that shade. Like, look at that pigment. It's crazy. Next, for the dark metallic blue, I have Close Your Eyes from LAKEY. This is one of my favorite shades from them. Oh, no, don't drop it. Don't drop it. Okay, I dropped it, but it survived. Jeez. So there is Close Your Eyes. It's just super beautiful. Like, such a nice blue. That's what I have kind of blended into my outer V today. It looks stunning all over the lid, but I thought with this kind of eye look, it would be nice to deepen the outer V just a little bit. And then for the really beautiful light purple, I have Hopscotch from Makeup Geek, which this is definitely a little bit of a softer pigment. I feel like you kind of have to build it up a little bit if you want to use it in your crease, or I definitely recommend going in with a brush that has a little bit of texture because it kind of picks up the product a little bit more and helps get it to show up. It's a very soft purple. So there is my like ideal single version of the Mini Tropic palette. Even though I didn't have any desire to purchase the Mini Tropic, I still am really excited about how this turned out, and I love duping things, so that's the ideal row. Now I'm going to go ahead and do them by colors. Alright, so I went ahead and left Star Bright on my arm just because I figured there's no point in swatching that one twice. It's the first one there. The other silver that I have here that's like more of a goldy silver, if that even makes sense, this is Game Changer from ColourPop. So there is Game Changer. Why does it look so bronzy now? I remember when I initially bought it, I thought it was a silver. And then I have Makeup Geek High Wire, which is a silver with a pretty purpley taupey undertone. This is one of the foiled shadows, so it's pretty creamy and intense. Alright, moving on to the metallic teal, I already went ahead and swatched Metamorphosis. Now the next shade we have is Sydney Grace Marine Waters, which I find this to be pretty similar, and this is also a super just intense, thick metallic formula. Next, I have Mist from Divina Cosmetics. This one feels a little bit softer, a little thinner, a little bit more on the blue side, but really beautiful. It's appearing a little more blue on camera than it appears to me in person. And then for my little extra palette here, I have LAKEY Sleep Forever. I had to include this one. It is one of my favorite shades in this kind of color. It's just so, so beautiful. Like, look at that. It's everything. And then last but not least, I have Alpine from Cleona Cosmetics. This is a little more green version of the shade. So there are some options for that second shade. I think these all look really beautiful, and you know, if you are doing a customized little build your own palette, you can definitely go for what suits you best and what makes you the happiest. If you want a little bit more blue, if you want a little bit more green, if you want right in the middle, if you want a little bit lighter, a little bit extra shiny, all up to you. Alright, so moving on to the middle matte blue, I already have Lethal Remedy swatch. Next I have Oasis from Sydney Grace Cosmetics, which this is more of like a softer blue, not quite as much of a green undertone in there, which it's kind of hard to tell from the palette and the swatches. I'm not sure. I feel like the Lethal one is definitely way closer, but if you just want a nice bright matte blue, this could definitely work with this color scheme. And then I also have Candy from Divina Cosmetics, which is a really stunning, it's a little bit deeper than the previous one, but it's still super bright and soft and easy to blend. So there are some blue options. Alright, moving on to the metallic deep blue, I already have LAKEY Close Your Eyes there, and then next I have Sydney Grace JB, which is a really beautiful, just thick metallic, just incredibly bright, pretty much true blue. It is very intense and stunning, and like, look at that shade. And then next I have Divina Hydra, which is the lightest of the blues there, but still so beautiful. Alright, so there is Hopscotch from Makeup Geek, already swatched. Next from Sydney Grace Cosmetics is the shade Regal, which is kind of a similar tone, but it's a little bit deeper. It has a little bit more of like a gray kind of undertone. And then from Divina, I have Aria, which is a really beautiful light purple. Not sure if this is the perfect undertone. I feel like the one is a little bit more pastel in the Tropic, but I was trying to kind of stick to brands together, and I felt like this would give a similar look. Definitely not the same, but oh gosh. Is that not the worst swatch ever? Jeez. Okay, so there's Aria. And then I also just had to include this shade as well because this is my favorite shadow in this kind of color story, or in this color family, I should say. This is M Cosmetics Lily. Looks like this. The shade, the formula, everything is phenomenal on this shadow, so definitely have to include it here. Very similar shade to Aria. Okay, so last but not least, I was requested to mention this, so I wanted to really quickly. Lemoncello is from the original Tropic palette, and it's a really beautiful, like soft, yellowy gold shade. And I immediately thought of Makeup Geek Voltage, which is this shadow here. I thought that this would be a really beautiful dupe for that shade, and then I was kind of second guessing myself, so I googled the palette again just to make sure I remembered it correctly, because I had been looking at the other palette, not the full one. I've been looking at the mini, so I was like, is that Lemoncello? Let me just double check before I say this is a dupe for Lemoncello. And I saw that Futility's More. I love her Instagram, it's amazing. She did a dupe version for this a while back, and she also chose Voltage from Makeup Geek, and she had both products, so that makes me a little bit more confident in my choice. This is becoming one of my favorite shadows recently. It's just the most beautiful yellowy white gold duochrome. Like, sorry, my hands are so stained, but here, I'll show you right here. There is Voltage from Makeup Geek, so I feel like that would definitely give you a similar look. And it's all around, even if it wasn't a similar look, it is such a beautiful shadow. I love this on the inner corner. Alrighty, so those are all of my dupes. I hope you enjoyed this Single Shadow Saturday. Next week is going to be a video on my Give Me Glow singles, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'm very excited to show them to you. So that's everything. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.